The so-called stakeholder meetings take place over the next 2 months with the aim to find funding, coordinate with existing programs, and consider new ways to help the city reach its goal of 75% solid waste reduction by 2020 and zero waste by 2040. Here with an update on where we stand now and the plans for moving forward are Ken Prue, San Diego's Waste Reduction Manager, and Recycling Specialist Rebecca Hayes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, Ken, practically speaking, what does zero waste actually mean?
It really means rethinking how we treat our discards and thinking of them as resources. And the most simplistic way to say it would be to recycle more, to reuse things if you can, try to buy more durable things. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just really take advantage of the blue bin that you have already. Recycle or compost your yard waste. Things like that. Things that we can easily get in the habit of. To try to get it
down to zero.
Exactly.
Try to get it down as close to zero as we can. I know the interim goal, as I mentioned, was 75% reduction waste in the Miramar landfill by 2020. That's only 6 years away. When is that landfill slated to close, and is there enough time to really recycle enough in order to extend its life?
Oh, absolutely. And we just recently pushed the closure date back. So now it's 2025. But ideally, we can keep pushing it back. More and more recycling will push it back further. And just to get from where we are at 67% to 75%, it's about 320,000 tons a year.
320,000
tons a year that we would no longer be putting in the landfill. So I mean, that's a big difference.
Do you have a number of how much we put in each year?
It's about 850,000 tons just into Miramar, and about 1.37 million for everything generated within the city of San Diego.
That's a lot of trash.
Yeah, even with all the recycling we're doing, we're still burying a lot of good materials.
Now, Rebecca, when it comes to zero waste, what could that look like? Describe it for us for the average citizen here in San Diego.
Well, when I think of zero waste, I think of my grandma because she was from the Depression era, and zero waste is just being really resourceful and mindful in your purchasing, mindful in thinking of what you're going to do with something prior to disposing of it. In other words, she would have little jars of cotton balls. Rather than going and buying a plastic container, she would use something that she already had and she would reuse it and repurpose things. So it's really not doing anything necessarily new. We all know how to recycle. We all know how to reuse. People are learning how to compost, and if they don't know how, we have ways for them to learn how to compost. So it's just implementing those kind of practices more.
And let's talk about this, Ken, because there's 15 other cities in California that have zero waste plans. Some of them are a little closer to that zero waste than we are. What are they doing that we're not? The green waste comes to mind. Food, I don't know, how do you handle food waste, things like that?
Oh yeah, and a lot of times it's, we know that 39% of what's going into our landfill is organic, and about 192,000 tons of that is actually food waste. So we have lots and lots of food waste going there. A lot of the other jurisdictions have more infrastructure in place to handle that food waste, and that's one of the biggest area of opportunity we have is related to getting your food waste and your yard waste out. And one of the things is anaerobic digestion, and so we see definitely a fit with that, where potentially having a facility at Miramar where we could take that material and make energy or fuel, and then also compost.
And if you could just briefly answer this, because I know there's certain portions of the city where I live, there is no green waste. You would love to green waste and have this for composting or organic dissolving. So why don't we have that now?
Well, we don't have it right now because we don't have the budget for it, partly because the citizens that receive city collection service, they're not paying a direct fee for service like the surrounding cities. So it makes us have other challenges as far as getting the funding to do these programs.
And do we know how much this zero waste program, is it too soon to tell how much that might cost the city?
Ultimately, it will depend on what makes it into the final plan. And we're looking to make things as equitable as possible, and really, everyone's going to be part of the solution. So we're really trying to make it.
So no hard numbers yet.
Not
no
yet.
hard numbers yet.
Sorry.
Rebecca, how will businesses and residents both be impacted by this plan? Will everybody have to participate?
Yes, everybody will have to participate to make it work. One of the things they can do is think about implementing like an environmentally preferable purchasing practice when they're purchasing items, to think of, like I said, think of the end of the life of this product. That really helps with businesses and reducing their waste, and the same with residents as well, sort of implementing their own environmental preferably purchasing practices. We call them EP3 practices.
All right, well, we have a lot more on our website. Rebecca Hayes and Ken Prue, thanks very much.
Oh,
Thank you.